very good.
Not very good. Opponent's hitting 186. That's second lowest in the AL, and that just shows how dominating Zack Greinke has been at this point.
And before we get started, let's welcome in the third member of our broadcast team, Joel Goldberg.
Ryan, thanks. You know, everybody in town is so excited about seeing Zach pitch. Of course, the fans are, the Royals players are, the manager, the catcher. But we had Steve Palermo, longtime American League umpire, on Royals Live pregame show, and he said that as an umpire, you come to town, you look at the schedule, you say, what day am I behind the plate? Wednesday, Greinke, yes. So that is how Mike Winters will be feeling tonight. As an umpire, you want that good pitcher. It makes for an easier and maybe quicker night.
Well, Joel, Mike Winters has the dish tonight. He's the crew chief, so maybe before the series began, he manipulated the order. We don't know, but he'll be back there with Greinke for the Royals and left-hander Brian Talbot for the Blue Jays. Zach faced Toronto twice last year and was 0-1 with an ERA over 5. And that's also his career ERA against Toronto, over 5, and that's in 5 starts. And his first pitch is swung on and fouled back by Scutaro, and wouldn't be surprised if the Blue Jays swung early. They don't want to fall behind Greinke.
Well, Scutaro has been one of those patient hitters in the first 2 games of this series, and they know Zach likes to establish his fastball and whether or not he gets it on the corner or not. And so they are going to come out swinging until Zach kind of changed the pace on him a little bit.
And a slow breaking ball is outside. Batting average at just .268 for Scutaro, but because of all the walks, his on-base percentage is over 400, 415. So he will get on base, and Greinke's ahead, challenging Scutaro with a fastball, 1-2.
Well, this is a situation, Ryan, where they know Zack Greinke. They've seen him before. They know he likes to throw his fastball. The first 2 starts, even though they St. Gil match, he was real patient. But something about facing the guy who's been lights out. You know you might get that one fastball to hit, and he was trying to get that first pitch of this at bat.
Now goes with the hard slider, so Zach has shown Scutaro 3 of his 4 pitches. In the 5th inning on Friday's game against Detroit, Zach lost that consecutive innings streak without allowing any kind of a run. It was an unearned run. So 38 innings overall, 20 innings this year. Allowed just the 1 unearned run and only 3 hits in 9 innings against Detroit, and struck out 10 for the 2nd consecutive game. And running it up there at 96, still 2-2 on Scutaro.
Yeah, this is a defense that the Royals are imposing with Billy Butler on the field. They put him right in the base hit hole, and that way he doesn't have anything to do but worry about to his left. Where he gets in trouble is if he goes further to his right from that point. So this is pretty much where the base hits go, and anything they get hurt on is going to be down the line.
And a slider is lined into right center field. Coco plays it deep. Scutaro is going to try for 2, and he's in with a double. Defensively for the Royals tonight, Willie Bloomquist back in left field with Crisp and Guillen. And then Mark Tien, Mike Aviles, Alberto Callaspo, and Billy Butler on the infield. And Miguel Olivo, who's been on the same page with Zach all season. In fact, Zach has given a lot of credit to Miguel Olivo for his fast start, along with pitching coach Bob McClure.
Right, that was an excellent read by Scutaro. He saw Chris going to his left, and he knew he'd have to turn all the way around and make an excellent throw to second base. So he really picked a good time to challenge Coco Chris' arm in that situation, and mainly because of the direction he was going to make that play.
Now Aaron Hill, who was hitless in game 1, but then 3 hits last night, giving him 36 on the year. That's the most in the American League. Didn't mean to go around. And Zach's ahead 0-1. His .371 batting average is 7th best in the league.
Well, Aaron Hill's job here is to try to get the ball to the right side to get Scutaro over to third base, and like he was maybe looking for something off speed, and Zach really got that fastball up and in on him.
That fastball rides inside. In his last 2 starts against Detroit and Texas, Zach has had all 4 pitches of his working from the very first inning. And Hill still trying to go to the right side to advance the runner. Fouls it away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Zach started strong, finished strong against the Tigers. That was the only game the Royals won in that Detroit series on Friday night. Retired the last 15 and 23 of the last 24. And strikes him out. Big strikeout. The runner at second, nobody out. And that's what Zach's been able to do, is when he needs a strikeout, he can go and get it.
And they can use any pitch in his repertoire to get it done. That was a little bit harder curveball. They really had some good bite down.
So Scutaro has been on base all series at second base with 1 out. And now Alex Rios. Only 1 hit so far, a couple of walks. 0-1. Scutaro and Aaron Hill combining to get on base 11 times in the series. So plenty of RBI opportunities for Rios, Wells, Lind, and Rowland. Did he go around? Yes. Lance Barksdale down at first base. Rios in the hole, 0-2.
Well, good pitchers force bad swings sometime, and Rios saw that ball on the outside corner. May have thought it was going to come back into the outside corner, but it stayed straight. But he had already committed and couldn't hold up.
That was close.
That was real close. Yeah, I talked to umpires when I was first base coach down there, and I said, well, what's the toughest thing about calling a check swing? And he said it's when they use the colored bats, because they really can't see the bat all the way sometimes, whether it gets through the zone or not. So if you have a lighter colored bat, the chance of getting a check swing call or not is great.
Trying to go upstairs. 1-2. Are they judging where the end of the bat goes or how far the hands go?
I think it's all about the wrist. If the wrist stay back, and so they're watching the bat head. Once the bat head enters the strike zone, or in this case crosses the white line, it's almost like a swing, because you can drag your wrist way out without actually breaking your wrist.
Just barely got a piece, because sometimes a hitter, the hands barely move, but the bat head gets across the zone. And then there are times where the hitter's hands go way through the zone, but the bat head stays back, and they call no swing.
Well, it's all about the wrist. You can, as long as your wrist stay, your lead hand stays to the pitcher, and the bat head stays back, it can't call a swing. But once the top hand wrist goes through, then that's where you're going to get it.
Well, the wrist went through there as Zach strikes out his second, so leadoff double, and now Scutaro down at second with 2 away.
Well, again, he goes back to the hard breaking ball right here, and Zach's gotten a lot of strikeouts on that pitch, right and left-handers. And what makes that pitch appear to be a good pitch is because Zach is throwing that pitch out of the same motion as he throws his fastball and the same arm speed, and it looks like a fastball to the last minute. You've already committed yourself and can't hold up.
Now Vernon Wells, 3 RBIs last night. .69 miles an hour.
Well, Zach knows the guys who can hit that first pitch fastball, and there he throws him a curveball that really made him get sort of, in the old days they would say he ginger flexed a little bit. So but once you move, you can't swing after that. After you give up on it, you can't swing.
And then a harder breaking ball, and it's 0-2. And when he's so good as he's been this year, what do you sit on?
You just hope that he makes a mistake where you're swinging, because he's not going to lay it on the table for you. Hitting counts, he's going with something totally different in hitting counts. So if you just got to get pretty lucky.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
But I would think most hitters still, Ryan, are going to be centered on the fastball. I think they're always going to be ready to hit the fastball, and whether he throws something else different in that count, that's going to determine how well they do.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And now Zach wants to talk things over with Olivo. Now Olivo, I noticed, is going through 2 different types of signs. The first set is almost like a third base coach touching different parts of his body, then going with the finger signs afterwards.
Well, that's definitely because there's a runner on second base, and one can mean location, and the other one can mean the pitch you're going to throw. It just matters which is which.
A 2-2. Past Greinke and into center field, and there's the first earned run against Zach all season. He almost got out of it, and that's a professional at bat for Vernon Wells. And the fans who have been paying so close attention to Zach, they know exactly what just came to an end, and they're going to give him a nice ovation.
You know, we say all along that hitters only hit pitchers' mistakes, and Oliva wanted that ball to bounce in the ground, and Greinke left it up a little bit out over the plate, and Vernon Wells was able to take advantage of it.
Well, let's see how Zach pitches the rest of the night, because when the scoreless streak, unearned runs or earned runs, ended in the 5th inning on Friday, it's like that fired up Zach.
Well, he said he got pumped after that, and he really was lights out from that point on.
0-2 now on Adam Lind. That earned run, the first charged to Greinke since September the 13th against Cleveland. So 7 months in between earned runs. Lind is a strikeout candidate, 21 strikeouts this year. Two and two. For the last 2 hitters, Zach has jumped ahead 0-2 with the hitter evening the count. He has thrown strike 1 to each of the first 5 hitters tonight. Blows him away with a fastball. Blue Jays end the streak and get a run in the 1st inning. Mid-Eye Bank. Willie Bloomquist is back in there in left field. Billy Butler returns to the lineup at first base. Mike Jacobs moves down to number 6. And Miguel Olivo in there as the number 9 hitter. He hit a 3-run home run as the number 9 hitter 2 nights ago. Here's the Kia scouting report on Blue Jay starter Brian Tallett.
Well, Tallett's fastball slider change. Cito Gaston really likes him. He thinks he gets out right-handers probably better than left, mainly because of that hard slider that comes down and in.
Oh, 0-1 on Coco. 1 out of 8 in the series. His base hit last night, snapping an 0 for 9. One and one. Coco has the most at-bats against Tallett in the lineup. Other than that, only Mark Teahan has more than 2. So they're still getting a feel for the Blue Jays lefty, the big Blue Jays lefty, 6'7", 220 pounds. And when guys are that big, Frank, it's very common to hear about them having a difficulty repeating their mechanics.
Yeah, I remember Randy Johnson when he was a rookie. I mean, he was all over the place until he finally got it together. But guys that are that tall, first you look for whether they throw downhill angle, but just being able to gather themselves and stay in a tight package and then explode on the hitter, that's been the tough part.
Still 2-2 on Coco. Tallett started the year in the bullpen, but had to go to the rotation because of all the injuries. Barajas didn't quite get the tag, but down to first base to complete the strikeout. So Tallett opens the game with a strikeout. The Blue Jays lead the league in strikeouts. Defensively, the same for the 3rd straight night. Snyder, Wells, and Rios in the outfield. Rollins, Scudero, Hill, and Overbay on the infield. Rod Barajas, the league has stolen 13 against him so far. The Royals with 2 so far in the series, including 1 from Willie Bloomquist 2 nights ago. Willie on base 3 times in the game on Monday. A triple, his first triple in 3 years. A couple of walks, his first stolen base, also drove in a run. Right field, but Rios was shallow and makes the play for the 2nd out. Well, lucky to get the game in with all the rain in Kansas City, which arrived around 3 o'clock. 61-degree first pitch temperature, a 31-minute rain delay starting at 7:41. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. Ball 1 to Mark Teahan. Now a lefty on the mound, Frank. Immediate reaction. Load up the lineup with your right-hand batters, but not so fast against this guy.
Lefties do pretty good against him. I know that in talking to Cito Gaston before the game, that was one comment that he made, was that the fact that he gets righties out better makes him pretty popular.
And really the only item in the Royals lineup that refers directly to that is Willie Bloomquist, a right-hand batter playing in left rather than David DeJesus. DeJesus, couple of hits last night to break out of a slump. Good pitch over the inside, and Teahan is down 1-2. 1 hit, 2 walks for Tien in the first 2 games. On the ground right side, Overbay, long run off the bag, race to the base, and Talent just gets there in front of Tien. And the Royals down in order in the bottom of the first. Still is in elite company as we take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Consecutive starts with no earned runs. Zach is in there with Don Drysdale and Oral Hershiser. Drysdale for a long time had the consecutive inning scoreless streak, runs or earned runs. And that was snapped by Oral Hershiser. Drysdale 14-12 that year. Hershiser 23-8. And Zach over his stretch is 6-0 dating back to last season.
Yeah, Hershiser had some really good movement on his fastball. He was really a good sinker ball pitcher. He got a lot of ground balls, threw a lot of strikes, and competed real well.
2-1 to Scott Rowland. Rowland 2 out of 9 in this series so far. He's hit in 6 straight games. And thought that pitch was low.
You can tell by the way he look back at home plate umpire Mike Winter. He's like, what are you talking about?
Zach strikes out his 4th. Fell behind 2-1, but came back with a strikeout.
Well, he came back, and this is the pitch here that had some deep depth to it, and Scott Rowland wasn't quite sure about that one. So Zach said, well, let me throw you another one. He got that one a little higher and got the strikeout.
And now Lyle Overbay, who has the best numbers of any Blue Jay in his career against Greinke. Goes after the first pitch. The wind is blowing in from right, so that's going to push that towards the seats off the left field line. 0-1.
Now, Ryan, going back to Scott Rowland's at bat, we had talked about how some pitchers don't like to back the same pitch up twice. They'll go to a great pitch like that, then they'll go to a fastball and give the hitter an opportunity to hit the ball. But Zach, in that situation, threw back-to-back pitches and came out ahead.
Change up and had Overbay off balance and reaching. And Coco makes the play in center field, 2 down. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Grady Sizemore and the Indians head to Detroit to take on Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at a special time of 2:30 following This Week in Baseball, which is on at 2 p.m. Now Rod Barajas with 2 outs, nobody on. 2 doubles in the series, 2 runs scored. And inside, ball 1. Blue Jays getting a run in the first inning. Moving Zach Greinke's ERA up to an unsightly 0.21. What is the world coming to? 1-1 on Barajas. How about this note, Frank? Kevin Shank pulled this up for me. The first inning, the Blue Jays had 2 hits in 1 inning. That's the 3rd time in 30 innings that a team has done that against Zach Greinke. Barajas reaching and pokes it up the left field line, and Bloomquist was playing more towards left center, so that's going to drop. And Barajas hustles into second base with a double.
Well, that just goes to show how dominant Zach's been so far this season. He's been able to make adjustments and make good pitches, and even those hits, you don't know what the quality of those hits were. Well, Willie's playing around the left center field, and Zach hangs a breaking ball right here. And Willie has a long way to go, and the wind kind of holds his ball up a little bit, and just it's going right down right on top of the line.
So 3 hits, 2 doubles for the Blue Jays. And 0-1 on Travis Snyder. Zach has now faced 9 and thrown strike 1 to 8 of the 9 hitters. What else is new? But think about that. 30 innings. And he's given up more than 1 hit 3 times. And in 3 of his starts, his first start and his last 2 starts, he didn't do it at all.
I think that's just a direct result of him being able to get so many pitches over on any count, and hitters don't have an opportunity to sit on 1 pitch.
And there's the changeup that he spent all spring training working on. It's 1-2 on Snyder.
Well, that's the pitch, Ryan, where he's trying to. It's got the 3-finger grip here, but what he wants this ball to do is start about just above the knee and fade away. That may be a little too high right there. He might want that ball to go down a little bit lower. But the thing about that pitch, though, is the amount of run that it had across the plate off the end of the left-handed bat.
Pops this changeup up. Bloomquist and Chris both calling for it, and Willie makes the play to end the inning. Double for the Blue Jays, but they strand Barajas at second base. The Royals come up. Joel Goldberg has been taking us for tours around Kauffman Stadium.
Ryan Frank hanging out in the outfield, and I know we've shown it to you a little bit early in the season, but the statues look so good out here. How about Frank's new home? It says the native son, Frank White Jr., Kansas City zone. And I got to tell you, Frank, the spot looks good out here, and I know fans are enjoying coming out. We've seen a lot of fans over the first couple of homestands just coming out and taking pictures in front of the statues. Pretty cool stuff. And Frank, you got some good balance out here, too. Let's go back upstairs to you guys.
That's why they call me smooth.
Well, if it's anything like the Royals caravan, I imagine fans are not only stopping by the statue and taking pictures, but maybe shedding some tears. Every caravan, there's somebody so excited to see Frank that it just becomes overwhelming emotionally for him. With his trademark mustache on the statue. Whatever happened to that mustache?
Well, it's a winter mustache now. Since I started going on TV, I don't want to take care of it as much, so I just take it off until the season's over, then I grow it back.
What, do we have a mustache policy I don't know about?
No, it's just me,
okay.
and not wanting to deal with it. You know, with this new HD, you know.
Talent has retired the first 4, getting Guillen on a ground out to short. Time for You Call It, presented by Sprint. And we'll ask you, what's the best April ever by a Royal? Zach this year, A. Brett Saberhagen in 87, B. Larry Gura in 83, C. Or Paul Splittorff in 78, D. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, and then your selection, A, B, C, or D. Oh and 1 to Billy Butler, 0 for 3 with a walk on Monday. One and 1. Brian Talent is a former second-round draft pick of the Cleveland Indians. It was in 2000 out of Louisiana State University. 2 balls, 1 strike. Had Tommy John surgery in 2003. And good off speed, and the count is 2-2 on Billy. Making his 3rd start tonight after beginning the year in the bullpen. 4 appearances out of the pen. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's go back to You Call It, presented by Sprint. And here is the updated ERA for Greinke. It was 0 coming in tonight, but after allowing a run in 2 innings tonight, it's 0.29. Big difference between the two. I mean, let's make sure we get this right. I mean, when you're talking about the greatest April ever, we got to be fair. Billy to deep center field, and the game is tied. Billy Butler with his first home run of the year.
This is a big hit for Billy right here, Ryan. He's been really swinging through some pitches, getting some good pitches to hit and fouling balls off. And out away from his strength, but he just stayed with that fastball and drove it over the right center field wall.
So Butler with his first home run, and here's another bat the Royals want to get going. Mike Jacobs, who leads the Royals with 4 home runs. Comes in tonight 0 for his last 18. And he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Joel, you were talking to hitting coach Kevin Seitzer about Billy Butler.
Yeah, I was talking to him yesterday, and he keeps telling Billy, don't get frustrated, 1 for 10 on this homestand. But he said, Kevin told me yesterday, he is ready to bust out any time now. He could just tell by how hard he's been hitting the ball, the productive outs that he had. And he's just been trying to get into Billy's head and say, don't look at those overall numbers if it's an 0 for a night. Know that you're getting very close, and it's going to show pretty soon. And obviously, so far tonight it has.
Tying the game at 1 here in the second inning, and now Jacobs with a great swing. Fouled it just below us. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, the one thing as a hitter you can't do is you can't panic. If you know you're going to be in the lineup most of the time, you can't really let a couple, you know, they're going to go in those 0 for 10s and 0 for 15s and 2 for 4s. And these things kind of go with being an everyday player. You just got to be able to fight through and not let them get way out of control where you can't come back and lose your confidence. You know, you got to say, well, I'm going to be out here, I'm going to take good swings, and I'm going to try to do something positive every day. But if you're a guy that's not playing every day, then you think a little bit different. You might panic a little bit earlier.
Another good swing.
And that's usually what happens. You know, when you're not swinging good, you get your pitch, you foul it off, and all of a sudden you turn around and you see it. And they always say if you hit line drive, sooner or later the ball's going to leave the ballpark. But you got to hit the ball hard. And they say sometimes 3 times just to get 1 hit. But at least you know that you're on the ball.
3rd home run given up by Brian Talent this year. And a good at bat for Jacobs. That was a close pitch and takes a 1-out walk. And now Alberto Callaspo lost a 10-game hitting streak last night. 2 out of 7 in the series and still hitting .367.
You know, for Jacobs, that could have been a good thing. I mean, usually you when you're struggling to get hits, it means you're not seeing the ball. You may be chasing a lot of bad pitches, but this at bat right here was a great at bat, and he got a walk out of it. So it means he is seeing the ball.
Slicing to right field, making it a long run for Rios, who's an excellent outfielder. 2 down, Jacobs back to first. Now Mike Aviles. 2 runs scored, 2 hits so far against the Jays. The Royals' bottom 5 hitters are all facing Brian Talent for the first time. The Royals have seen him before, 6 times before tonight, but they didn't see him last year. Oh, 0-1. Brian Talent, they say, likes to experiment with his facial hair, and going with a mustache tonight, just a mustache, a little scruff on the cheeks. And Kevin Schenk with a great call, saying he looks a lot like Frank Viola.
Well, it crossed my mind earlier, but I'm always afraid to throw things out there like that. Frankie V.
Another left-hand pitcher. It's 0-2 on Aviles. Giving up a 1-out home run to Billy Butler here in the second inning to tie the game at 1. Barajas keeps it in front of him. Toronto scoring in the top of the first on a Vernon Wells single that scored Marco Scutero, and tagging Zach Greinke with his first earned run of the season and his first since September 13th of last year. Two and 2 on Aviles, and you can see, as we were talking about Jacobs and laying off some close pitches, Mike Aviles past 3 or 4 games really starting to be more selective at the plate.
More selective, and last night he hit a few balls to the right side, so you feel him getting a little bit closer. And you don't have the kind of year he had last year and don't have any idea how to hit. You just basically got to make your adjustments a lot faster, so the 0 for the long stretches between not getting base hits don't get longer. You just want to keep them as short as possible.
Does every hitter, or should every hitter, have a list of basics, so when the slump comes, you just go back to step A?
Well, hitting coaches always encourage hitters to write things down about themselves, about the pitchers they face, so they'll have an idea of how they made outs, how they got base hits, what pitches they were on, and then kind of do a study guide for yourself. And I think you always got to have something to refer back to, and always go back to the good things. Don't go back and look at the bad at bats. You want to look at the good at bats and try to figure that out.
Thumbs one into right field. Rios coming up, and it goes off of his glove. Avila's trying for two. He's going to have to hurry, and he is safe as the ball got away from Scudero. Second and third with two down, and Miguel Olivo coming up. It'll be a double for Avilas, his third of the year.
Well, we had talked about Mike trying to fight the ball back over to the right side. He does a great job here on a slider down and in, getting inside of it and cutting it into right field. Rios comes in and attempts to make a great play. The ball goes just under his glove.
So Jacobs at third. Avilas at second. Miguel Olivo with a 3-run home run in the game on Monday, and he hit that to right center field. Off the end of the bat, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ryan, if you watch that play with Avilas going into second base, what really helps Avilas here is Scudero really should be on the second base side of this bag and not straddle the bag, and that way he put Mike right between him and the ball, and that really hurt the throw from right field. If he gets his right foot on the right field side, now he has the opportunity to catch the ball and make a tag.
2 balls, 1 strike. That's the second time in this series that you've pointed out the difference in positioning being the difference between getting an out and the ball hitting the runner.
Well, the key is always not to put the runner between you and the ball. You always want to be on the side of the ball.
It's going to slice well away from Rios and out of play. It's 2-2, and the next pitch will be the 30th in the inning for Talent.
And that's going to make Kevin Seitz pretty happy. You know, he wants his hitters to make the pitcher work and build up the pitch counts and try to get him out of the game before the 5th inning. And the guys are doing a great job right now.
Billy Butler with a 1-out home run. A walk to Jacobs, a 2-out double to Avilas. And a strikeout of Olivo, the second for Talent. The Royals tie the game. Billy Butler going deep for the first time this year. who is sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat at tonight's game, who spends his time in his community as member of the Center School Board and the Redbridge YMCA Community Advisory Council, also a local Boy Scout leader and Cub Master and a youth coach. KCMO resident, father of 3. Also finds time to provide pro bono legal advice to the City Union Mission and others in need. So welcome to Kauffman Stadium, Joe Nastase. Strike one to Marco Scudero. So Zach has faced 10 hitters. He's been ahead 0-1 on 9 of the 10. Scudero doubled, leading off the game, and then scored with 2 outs on Vernon Wells' single. So Scudero has scored 4 times, getting on base with 2 hits and 4 walks in the series. And off speed to jump ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scudero, Hill, and Rios here in the 3rd inning. Just missed the inside, and now that pitch sets up what?
Well, if it stays true to form, that hard breaking ball down and away.
Fastball just missed down and away, and now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. That is 22 walks for Marco Scudero, tying him for the league lead. Man, you really have to throw him a strike. And for Zach, that's only the 7th walk for him all year. Here's the Roadrunner Turbo speed pitches and the 96-mile-an-hour fastball for Zach Greinke. That's his fastest pitch so far. And Brian Tallett at 92. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Ball 1 to Aaron Hill. Zach allowed that double to Scudero in the 1st inning. Then he came back to strike out Hill, struck out Rios, and then was ahead of Vernon Wells 0-2. Wells even the count at 2-2, and then singled to center field to give Toronto the lead. And Hill having a tough time with that breaking ball tonight. With the strikeout against Zach in the 1st inning, Aaron Hill is just 1 for 11 against Greinke. Tighter strike zone tonight.
It's a little tighter, and it's really surprising because Zach is usually around the plate, and if you're around the plate, if you even inch off the plate, they'll probably work with you a little bit.
Mike Winters might be thinking Zach Greinke doesn't need any help. And floated out into shallow center field. Scudero going to try and go to 3rd, and he will. So 1st and 3rd and nobody out with the middle of the order coming up.
Well, Scudero really made a nice read on that ball. He never even hesitated going around second base. Anything that's been, well, Zach hangs a little breaking ball up here. He does a great job of getting the end of the bat on it, and he just didn't break stride. He just kept going. He saw where Coco Chris was and the type of ball that was hit, and he made it easily into 3rd base.
Alex Rios struck out swinging in the 1st inning and now grounds it to 3rd. Tien's going to try for 2, and the Royals get it. The run scores, but they'll trade the run for 2 outs. Toronto leads 2-1.
Well, you know, a lot of people are going to look at the earned run, and they're going to get really excited about that. But anytime you get 2 outs, you got to take the 2 outs. There may be some situations late in the game where that run can beat you after 7. You might want to think about going home at that time. But early in the game, you want to get 2 and get Zach off the field and come up and try to get some runs for yourself.
Vernon Wells had a great at-bat against Greinke in the first inning. Looked like Zach was going to pitch his way around that double and ahead 0-2, but the veteran Wells, you could tell there was no panic at all. From 0-2 to 2-2, and with a shortened swing, hit a sharp ground ball up the middle for his 13th RBI. Backhanded by Tian, and the Blue Jays get another run in the 3rd inning. 2-1 Toronto to the bottom of the 3rd. Brought to you tonight by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T, your world delivered. And by Colorado Tourism. Plan your summer vacation at colorado.com. Coco leading off the bottom of the 3rd inning, strokes it over Snyder's head. And just like that, a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Double number 5 for Coco Crisp this year.
We've seen him do this a lot, and this is that cutter that's down and in, and you know, we've seen him really take that ball up, out over the plate, middle in a little bit, and just really turn on it. And he really did a serious line drive there. And that's when he makes a good left foot turn around first base to keep that turn nice and tight, and just goes in the second real easy.
Now Willie Bloomquist, who handles the bat well, going to try and get Coco over to 3rd, may even lay down a bunt. And pushes it beautifully to the first base side. Tough play for Talent. Safe at first.
You know, Ryan, some things you talk about and some things you just have to watch. You just have to watch how beautiful that bunt was right there. Nice touch, went out there, laid down, and right off the end of the bat, just as perfect as you can do right there. Just took his time, stayed there, bunted the ball, got it down, and then ran hard after he bunted the ball. You know, a lot of guys would be satisfied they got the bunt down and not run hard after they bunt, but he ran all the way through the base and got a base hit out of it.
So 1st and 3rd, nobody out. And Tian pops it up. Got in on the hands. And Scott Rowland makes the play. Tian's so good on the pitches out over the plate and away, and Talent got him to chase one that was up and in. Fans, the new weekday play pack is a great deal for weekday games in May. You'll get 4 Field Plaza tickets, $20 off concessions, and unlimited free games in the outfield, all for just $40. That's a great deal. You can get your weekday play pack by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Visit Royals.com, the stadium box office, or at an area Hy-Vee food store.
You know, Talent threw that pitch in an area where you really see the ball good, but you just can't hit it. It looks big. You know you can get to it. But going back to what we said in earlier broadcast, that you have to get a pitch that you can handle in that situation, and you got to force the pitcher to make a mistake and don't help him out.
And now Guillen pops it up. 2 outs. Well, talking about over anxious. 2 ways to look at it. Coco Crisp swung at the first pitch and doubled. Willie Bloomquist went after the first pitch, bunted for a hit. So those worked. But now the last 2 hitters going after the first pitch and popping up. There's Billy Butler back in the 2nd inning.
But Billy just takes a fastball out over the plate and just drives it. And when Billy's hitting the ball in the alleys like that, left center, right center, straightaway center, then his swing is pretty much where he wants it. It's just a matter of hitting strikes at that point. When he starts pulling balls between short and third, that means he's getting out a little too fast and trying to hit the ball too hard.
Snapped an 0 for 7 for Billy. And that wasn't the pitch he was looking for. So Talent has faced 4 batters, and now Butler, and has thrown only 5 pitches.
And it's okay to hit the first pitch in that situation as long as it's your pitch. And both hitters, Tian and Guillen, both hit Talent's pitches.
No balls, 2 strikes. Well, no matter what happens in this inning, as far as pitch count goes, it's a good bounce back for Talent. Threw over 30 pitches last inning. And pitch count is an item for him. Remember, this is just his 3rd start after beginning the year in the Blue Jays bullpen. So he's not stretched out to go 90, 100 pitches or more tonight. And it really doesn't matter what team you're talking about. If you can get into the bullpen in the 5th or 6th inning, that's a good thing.
That's a real good thing, because it really not only helps you for this game, but it also helps you for the next game.
Hit hard, and that's fair. Butler comes through again. And now Willie Bloomquist blazing around third base. It's a 2-run double, and the Royals lead.
Talent tries to cut this ball in on Billy and try to jam him, but Billy really got the bat head on. His shoulder stayed there, his head stayed on the ball, and just trusted his hands to get through to this inside pitch. Did an outstanding job of hitting it. You see his head stayed there till he hit the ball, then his head came up. The ball gets down in the corner. Davis waving right on. He's waving all the way like crazy. This is what Davis has been waiting to do for a long time.
He has
score some runs.
He has not done enough of that yet this year. Now, Frank, what do you think this is about? Cito Gaston is the one that makes the first trip to the mound after the double on the 0-2 pitch to Butler.
Well, I think he just wants to go out and just calm him down. A lot of times when you haven't been on the mound a lot, they want you to, in the middle of a rally here, give up a big base hit. He just wants to go out and just sort of reaffirm his confidence in him and tell him that, you know, nobody warming up. You got the ball, so get back to doing what you was doing before this inning. He tried to get that cut fastball in on Billy's hands, just didn't get it there. He's probably telling him you're doing all right, just hang in there.
Now Mike Jacobs, who walked in the 2nd inning, had some great swings and then laid off a borderline pitch to draw the base on balls. Breaking ball is high, ball one.
I think Cito not having some of his big guns in the rotation, I think he knows he's dependent on these guys to really bail him out until he can get some of those guys back. So he's going to be a lot patient with these guys. He's going to try to give them as much confidence as possible.
Two and 0. Well, and some of those injured guys you're talking about, big names as far as the Blue Jays were relying on for this season. Jesse Litch, Ricky Romero, a young pitcher recently going on the disabled list, and of course Sean Markham from Excelsior Springs, and Dustin McGowan, who are already out because of arm surgery. And that pitch is high, 3-0. So it's a thin pitching staff, but the guys who have filled in have really stepped up. The Blue Jays coming in tonight with the 4th best ERA in the American League.
Well, Cito's just hoping these young guys can really just keep them in the game and keep the game close and give his offense a chance to work. And that probably goes out there and try to reaffirm that confidence.
That's trying to make something happen with a 3-0 pitch. Although Mike doesn't have to hit it up on I-70. I mean, it would be fun and all that, but pass rolling. So Jacobs going for it all on 3-0, and then a nice line drive swing on 3-1, and the Royals are out to a 2-run lead.
Well, Mike was listening to you, but there's sometimes in some counts where your swing doesn't look the same, but then he went back to basics on the 3-1 pitch, stayed on it, and just drove it to left field. And that's what Mike Jacobs really got going the last time, was when he started hitting balls in left field, and then he got back in the rudder trying to pull the ball. But if he stays right there, and then when he gets the pitch to pull, then he'll be able to pull it.
Well, he's going to be tough to pitch to if he can do that.
Yeah, real tough.
The Royals getting 3 in this inning, all with 2 outs. And 2-out RBIs have been a problem early in the season, but the Royals rallying in this inning. Billy Butler, a 2-run double, and then Mike Jacobs, who just snapped an 0 for 18 with that run scoring single and picking up his 13th RBI. 1-1 on Callaspo, flied out to right field in the 2nd inning. And now Callaspo trying to use the line.
In the first 2 innings, Talib was doing a good job of keeping the ball down, keeping his fastball down and away, and then running the little cut fastball in on the right-handers. This inning, he's been up a little higher with his fastball, and he's really just paid a price for it.
Still 1-2. Callaspo's fouled off 3 in a row. Callaspo, one of the toughest in the American League so far this year to strike out, and that's always been part of his scouting report. Good hand-eye coordination, and as we talked about a couple of days ago, you pointed out all the right things that he does with his mechanics.
Well, the one thing he does real good is he doesn't try to do too much. You know, he knows what kind of hitter he is. He tries to stay within that, and there are times when he gets lucky, but
well, the Royals are just wearing out the left field line. Jacobs to third, and Dave Owen is going to hold him there. Good call by Dave Owen. He was waiting to see how Snyder was going to handle that ball off the barrier wall.
Right, the lefty going into that wall, you really have to watch it real close. And with Jacobs running, it's not a sure thing that he's going to score on that ball. But if it definitely gets by, well, here Talib wants the ball. Ron wants the ball down, but he gets it in. And that's the pitch he's trying to get in, but not quite getting it in far enough. Is that little slurry type quick slider, and the guys are just dropping the bat head on it down around the knees, almost like a golf shot. It just doesn't seem to have the same bite that it had in the first 2 innings.
So Talent, who was so close to going Houdini in this inning after giving up a double and a bunt single. First and third, nobody out. Got pop-ups from Tien and Guillen on first pitches. Now he's given up 3 straight hits and 3 runs. And now Vilas on one hop to Hill, rolls away from him, but recovers to throw out Aviles. The Royals get 3 runs, all with 2 outs. Huge hit from Billy Butler. 2-run double. And after him, Mike Jacobs getting Butler to the plate. With 2 outs, and man, did Billy Butler turn that inning around.
Well, Billy's really having a good night tonight, and I could tell by the way he really swung at some balls earlier. He was just missing the fastball out over the plate, and then he finally caught one and drove it to right center field. And then he came back with men on base again and got a ball down and in, and really drove it by Scott Rowland down in the corner. So it looks like his hands are working good. He's really seeing the ball, and he's not trying to do too much with the bat.
So Zach Greinke, who has allowed his first 2 earned runs of the year, pitches with the lead for the first time tonight. 2 balls, 1 strike to Adam Lind. Zach struck him out in the first inning. Zach struck out the side in the first, but he gave up a run. Three balls, 1 strike. Greinke's ERA going from 0 to 0.56 with 2 runs in the first 3 innings. Man, you got to throw it right down the middle tonight.
Well, he's not missing by much at all, and that is a tight zone. A lot of times when you got a guy who's been as hot as Zach and has thrown as many strikes as he's thrown, he usually gets the benefit of the doubt of the close calls.
I'm not saying every single one of those pitches are strikes, but normally the umpire will give you part of the plate or maybe one side of the plate where you can miss by an inch or 2.
Especially if you're consistent in that zone pitch after pitch, and the catcher can kind of talk him into, okay, this is what we got. I think that pitch was a good pitch. I think it might be missing by just a little bit, and the umpire can tell you, well, I think it's way off. I can tell you it's an inch off or whatever it may be, and then you just try to make the adjustment. That's when the catcher goes out to the mound make sure he keeps his pitcher from getting frustrated and keep him focused.
That first pitch to Roland, not to make a big deal out of this, but the other night we were talking about how strike zones should change depending on the size of the hitter. That pitch came in and Olivo had to reach up for it, but Scott Roland is a big man and that went right across his belt.
He's a big guy.
Wow. Now, Roland struck out in the second inning, and the pitch before the strikeout was almost down in the dirt, called by a strike, or called a strike by Winters. Into left field, didn't get all of it, and Bloomquist retires Roland. Fox Sports Kansas City is now on Facebook and Twitter. Become a fan of Fox Sports Kansas City on Facebook and see Royals video and behind-the-scenes photos. And you can follow us on Twitter and get unique Royals news and analysis during the game. To find the links, go to our webpage, foxsports.com/Kansas City. Change up to Lyle Overbay. Flied out to center field in the second inning. Didn't mean to go around, and tee into second base for one out. So the Royals getting the lead runner and two down in the fourth inning.
That was a nice play by Mark to go over and really just take his time and make sure he gives Caspo a nice throw. The throw to first may have been ill-advised because that's when you make your mistakes. You got to know on a ball like that it's only going to be one out. And you just get the one out and hold the ball.
That brings up Rod Barajas, who doubled up the left field line in the second inning. 3 hits in the series, all doubles, and he has 8 this year. Three out of the 4 innings, the Blue Jays have had the leadoff man on. In the first and the third innings, it was Scudero, and he scored both times, and that's in on the hands, hit a mile in the air, and Aviles to the grass, and that's the inning. So leadoff walk, but nothing else for the Jays against Greinke in the fourth. Tonight by Corona Beer. This Cinco de Mayo, be sure to grab some ice cold Corona or Corona Light. The perfect holiday for Mexico's favorite beer, Relax responsibly. Well, some heavy thunderstorms landing in Kansas City at about 3 o'clock and lasting past 6. And then some light rain, which resulted in a 31-minute rain delay. But since then, a comfortable night at the ballpark, and the fans with a lot to cheer about so far. But the Royals in front. Royals getting 3 in the bottom of the 3rd inning to take the lead, all with 2 outs. 1-1 on Miguel Olivo. Talent struck him out to end the 2nd inning. Caught by Scudero. And now the top of the order. Independence Honda Buck Night and Hy-Vee Pepsi Fireworks Friday is back on May the 15th. The Royals host the Orioles at 7:10, but gates to the outfield open at 4 p.m. So you can start your weekend early. For tickets, 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com, the stadium box office, or any Hy-Vee food store. Coco Crisp got that 3-run rally started with a double to left field on the first pitch from Brian Talent. Scored on Billy Butler's 2-run double. And by the way, Frank, we are not taking any more entries. We have determined before the 4th inning is even over that we have a winner tonight in our Frank Viola lookalike contest. Not many people here tonight knew that there was a Frank Viola lookalike contest. Roland gets Crisp. Coco is 1 for 3. But Brian Talent, a left-hand pitcher, was aware, and that's a runaway victory.
That's got to be a victory right there. Frankie V, Minnesota Twin.
And a Toronto Blue Jay for a brief time.
Yes,
That's him in a Blue Jay uniform.
That's a great likeness.
Willie Bloomquist with 2 outs, nobody on. Right in the middle in the Royals' 3-run rally in the 3rd, a bunt single. And then along with Coco scoring on Butler's 2-run double, and then Jacob's single scored Butler. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think what Willie showed us in that last bunt attempt, that if you do fundamental things right, good things do happen. And a lot of times you bunt guys over, and next thing you know, you got a big inning. So you can't always just sit back and wait for the big inning. And it's nice to see a guy go up there and just lay down a nice bunt and get rewarded for it at the same time. Then normally we always say stay still until you bunt. He does a great job of keeping the bat head above the ball. He slid his bottom hand down to guide the ball. You know, the bottom hand guides the bat to the ball in the direction of the ball, and it takes you to the ball. He did a good job of letting the ball hit right off the sweet spot, more toward the end of the sweet spot, and just deaden it right out there on the grass. He did an excellent job right there.
And the worst thing that would have happened was he would have got Coco over to 3rd base with 1 out if he was thrown out. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Let's update You Call It, presented by Sprint. You can see this coming. The best April ever by a Royal, and Zach is running away in his final April start. 81% split. He was at the ballpark tonight, second at 11%. Willie takes a walk, second given up by Talent. And let's see if the Royals can put another rally together with 2 outs. Text 432-432, keyword Royals, space, and your selection. A, Greinke this year. B, Saberhagen in 87. C, Gura in 83. And D, Split in 78. Tee into deep center field. Back goes Wells, all the way back. 2-run home run. Royals out to a 4-run lead, their second home run tonight.
Mark Tien didn't really like the way he left that last at bat with men on base, and Talley come back with the same pitch, but Mark did a great job of making him get it out over the plate and stay within himself and drove the ball to left center field. I tell you, when he hits that ball to left center field, he hits it like a right-handed hitter. That thing, it doesn't slice or anything; it just goes straight, and that's unusual.
Got those long arms, and when he gets those extended, I mean, that is big-time power.
Well, it's big, and it makes you wonder. A few years ago, when everybody was saying he needs to pull the ball more, what were they talking about? But you know, the last at bat, he got it. It was up and in. He was patient that time. You see, how he just stayed real strong. Ball out over the plate.
You know, and that's looking at that pitch, Frank. I'm no expert on hitting, but if he wanted to, that pitch was in enough that if he wanted to pull that ball, he could have tried to pull it. This time a conscious effort to stay up the middle.
Well, he looks just like he did in spring training right there. I mean, he drove balls like that in spring training.
Guillen didn't quite get it, and Rios runs it down. Royals get 2 more runs with 2 outs. They've scored 6, 5 with 2 away. After the game, plenty of Royals coverage with Boulevard Royals Live with Joe Goldberg and Jamie Quirk from Rival Sports Bar in right field. Don't miss it. Martin didn't miss it. First pitch, 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 4th inning. The Royals have hit 2 home runs. Butler has a solo home run, and 5 of the 6 runs coming with 2 outs. And now you've given baseball's best pitcher, at least by the numbers this year, a 4-run lead. Martin with his 3rd home run, RBIs 8 and 9, bringing home Willie Bloomquist. Good pitch. 1-2 from Greinke to Snyder, who flew out to left field in the 2nd inning. A couple of guys facing each other that made their major league debuts when they were 20. Greinke in 2004, gosh, 5 years ago, and Snyder last year. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here's the James B. Nutter pitch count for Zach in 4+ innings. 70 pitches. So for the most part, pitch efficient. The first inning he threw 25, but 14 or less in the next 3. So recovering after that first inning. And that is his 5th strikeout tonight. Good start to the 5th inning.
Well, that at bat, it looked like he was starting to get those calls on the outside corner that he wasn't getting earlier. And the one thing that Oliva wanted him to do was really bounce that breaking ball when he wanted him to, but he's really having a hard time bouncing it on command tonight.
Somebody needs to send a zip tie user instruction manual out there. Boy, he battled that last K to death. Guillen takes care of Marco Scudero. That's the first time he's been retired tonight. He finally got it up there, and it looks good. 5 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings. The other guy, he's just a technical advisor.
Yeah, he acts like he wants no part of what's going on out there.
Through the hole on the left side, Aaron Hill with his 2nd hit. And 5 in the series, adding to his American League lead in hits. 38. So you either have K's, that's the traditional symbol for strikeouts, or the way Zach's going, he gets his own symbol, a Z. This is a big out. Greinke would rather not face Vernon Wells with 2 runners on. And 0-1 to Rios, who's 0 for 2. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, the Blue Jays they don't run a lot, so he shouldn't be overly concerned about the base runner at first. This is going to be a real big pitch here in an 0-2 count right here to Rios.
Did he go around? A similar pitch got Rios back in the 1st inning. This time Lance Barksdale down at first base said Rios did not go. It's 1-2.
You know, 1-2 counts are normally breaking ball counts, but Zach's been really able to sneak his fastball on the outside corner and also be able to go to that breaking ball, but he's had a hard time bouncing it when he wants to.
The rain earlier may have kept many fans from coming out to the ballpark tonight. Looked like there was a chance it was going to be rained out. Another strikeout. Zach has 6 and pitches a scoreless 5th inning. Royals lead by 4. Royals 6, Blue Jays 2. Bottom of the 5th, Billy Butler, who has a solo home run and a 2-run double. Leads off against Brian Tallett, giving up 6 runs, 8 hits. And the Royals have been clutch tonight. 5 of the 6 runs coming with 2 outs. The biggest, I think, Billy's 2-run double in the 3rd.
And it was a shot. I think Scott Rowland probably felt like a pinball machine for a minute. It was hitting some rockets by him down there at third base.
Butler, Jacobs, and Callaspo in the bottom of the 5th inning. Butler to deep left center field. Splash! Second time in his career he's hit more than 1 home run in a game, and that was an absolute no-doubter.
So Billy's really swinging the bat well tonight. Tallett got to get an 81-mile-an-hour slider down and in, and that pitch just wasn't working for him, and Billy just dropped the head right on it. Did a great job just staying back on his backside and just letting his hands come through the zone. The bat looked like it just flew through there, just effortless. What a great swing that was.
Billy might have a shot at a cycle if he could just keep the ball in the ballpark. With 2 home runs and a double. 2 balls and 1 strike on Mike Jacobs. Joe Goldberg told us early in the game that, talking with hitting coach Kevin Seitzer, that Seitz had a feeling that tonight Billy was going to break out tonight. Could just tell by the way he was seeing the ball and the swings he was having leading up to tonight, and that was a great prediction.
Well, hitting coaches always have a feel for their hitters, and part of their job is to make hitters feel good about themselves, and they got to figure out ways to psych them up when they're not swinging the bat well. But they also know what the way the ball comes off the bat, the way the hands come through the zone, slow body, quick hands, then that could give you an idea that they are close. Because on that home run, man, his hands just really just flew effortless through the zone.
And Jacobs laying off a close pitch to make it 3-2. By the way, for those of you who rolled your eyes when I suggested a cycle, Billy's got 2 major league triples. And he has 10 total as a professional. So he's a triples machine. That ball might or might not come back down. Not sure. There it is. Ricocheting off the Hubble telescope. Jacobs has walked and singled home a run, is single in the 3rd inning, coming with 2 outs, and snapped an 0 for 18 and takes another walk. And now you get the feeling that Jacobs, like Billy Butler, is just an inch from having a huge game. Now let's check in with the handyman, Joel Goldberg.
All right, well, they don't know I'm coming. But I'm going to come and help these guys out a little bit. Guys, the K's are a little crooked. Method here. Tell us about the method, because I got some help for you.
Okay, well, we originally had shower curtain rings, but they were too small for the bars, so we ended up using these twisty ties. Because
I've got, now the Z guys down there are using duct tape. That seems to be working better, but I've got some cable ties It says double lock grip 33% stronger.
That'll work great. We're starting to run out. I didn't bring very many of the ties.
Would you like me to offer you some?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I could even give you some. I've got to get some back to the booth. Ryan?
Just foul off the right field line. No, he changed his mind. The first base umpire changed his mind. I don't know if he accidentally made the wrong call and corrected himself. It sure looked like it was on the line, but Lance Barksdale pointed to the right and then to the left. And Cito Gaston just wants to figure out what's going on. You know what? I think he just got confused because that was an emphatic. I think he meant to point fair and just accidentally pointed foul.
He forgot he was turned the other way.
If I can read Lance Barksdale's lips, I think I saw him say, you're right, let's use the word messed. I messed up. So I don't think Lance Barksdale has any problem with Cito Gaston's frustration. He just reacted with the wrong arm.
Well, that's all he did. He did a great job in turning to watch the ball land. It looked like he gave it a little time, and it looked pretty emphatic that he says the ball is foul, but then he changed his mind and said, oh, I made a mistake. It is a fair after all. You watch Caspo, he throws his hands up right there before he gets to first base like this ball is it's got to be fair.
Well, it looked like the right call. So second and third for Mike Aviles, and the infield is in for the Blue Jays. A lot of people had to be heads up. That was interesting. Did you see Overbay? If Overbay doesn't go to the railing, if he goes in between the dugout and the tarp, he makes that catch, but he went to the railing.
Well, he's pretty frustrated with himself, too, because he didn't see it. And he realized if he had gone around it, he had a real good shot at making that play.
Heads up play on that double by Rios in right field. He could have easily given up when he saw foul ball. Now sliced up the right field line, and Rios won't get it, and out rolls behind him. 2 runs are going to score, and Aviles on his way to third. The Royals just wearing out the left field and right field lines tonight, and it's a 7-run lead.
You know, we talked earlier about Mike Aviles trying to go back to right field a little more like he was last year, and did a great job there.
the game. Let's find Joel Goldberg again.
Here, I don't know if you can see me. Here's the pole's kind of in the way. All right, so we got the K's. They had 15 of them, although they told me that after the first inning they were a little concerned. Might be all right tonight. Here, have some cable ties. That's a courtesy of the Fox Sports Kansas City crew. Don't take them all. They said they need some of them. All right,
hey,
here's
Joel,
one of the strikes. Hey, that's a wrap.
Joel,
literally.
Joel, what's the role of the other guy?
Oh, they want to know what your role is, the other guy.
He's making ball. One of the edge of it got kind of wet, and
so he is the make sure that it doesn't fall.
Okay, that's a big job. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. We're losing our wireless mic. Joel was trying to figure out the names of the two fans. Aviles at third, still nobody out. Former Royal Sean Camp in there, and they'll leave a one hopper to Scudero. So Aviles holds. The Royals with a 9-2 lead, and they've scored 7 of the 9 in the last 3 innings. Aviles just hit a 2-run triple to score Jacobs and Cayaspo. There's former Royal Sean Camp, second year with the Blue Jays.
And Sean Camp's best pitch is this sinker, both sides of the plate. So got inside to Olivo and just trying to create a ground ball right here with the infield in.
Sean Camp played with the Royals in parts of 2004 and 2005. Had an excellent year for KC in 2004. Appeared in 42 games and pitched with an ERA under 4. Also pitched with the Tampa Bay Rays before going to the Blue Jays. That's off the glove of Barajas, and Aviles can walk home from third. Royals lead 10-2.
This is definitely a cross-up, and after this pitch, it comes off the new wall, and Barajas looks out at Camp and taps his chest like, my fault. So one thing about making a call is remember what you call.
Again, up the line and into the corner. Snyder plays it well, holding Coco to a double, his second double of the game. And the Royals now with 10 runs on 12 hits, and it's only the 5th inning.
Well, they definitely found their hidden shoes tonight. Everybody's joining in, and they're getting all types of hits, home runs, doubles, triples.
All 10 runs are charged to Brian Tallett. He had allowed 6 earned runs in 18 innings before tonight. Tonight, 10 runs in 4 innings. Strike on Willie Bloomquist. He scored twice. Oh, 2. Talk about making the most of your hits. 12 overall, 10 of the 12 going for extra bases.
And the Royals have been long overdue for a night like this.
Previous high before tonight, 7 extra base hits, and we still have 4 more innings after this one. There's that trademark Sean Camp sweeping slider. Last night, the Royals had 1 run, 6 hits. And only 2 extra base hits. 2-2. Back to Camp. Good play. Keeps an eye on Crisp. And 2 down. Afternoon game tomorrow. Final game of 4 with the Blue Jays. First pitch at 1:10. Coverage beginning at 12:30 with Royals Live. Kyle Davies pitches for the Royals. And lefty Brian Burris for Toronto. And the Royals have a couple of quick trips. A quick 3-game road trip to Minnesota, followed by a quick 4-game homestand against 2 teams, the White Sox and the Mariners. So 2 down, and now Mark Teahen. Teahen 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. Two and 0. Blue Jays tonight have had a 1-0 and a 2-1 lead. The Royals with 3 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 4 more here in the 5th. And Overbay overhand toss to Camp. He gets all 3 outs in the inning. The Royals add 4. Billy Butler begins the inning with a solo home run, his 2nd of the game. First a home run to center, and then a 2-run double, and this blast in the 5th. Tonight, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. And now trying to do the job on defense, and Zach Greinke has an 8-run lead. Gave up a run in the 1st inning, his first earned run allowed this year. And the man at the plate, Vernon Wells, singled home Marco Scutaro. Wells 1 for 2. And the 2nd run given up by Zach in the 3rd. With runners at 1st and 3rd and nobody out, Alex Rios hit into a double play, scoring Scutaro again, and that's it for Toronto. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Vernon Wells. Zach was walked 2. He has struck out 6. Up the right field line, slicing foul.
Vernon Wells took more of a defensive swing on that pitch there. Zach's throw that 76-mile-an-hour curveball, and he comes back with a fastball on the outer half, and you really just can't sit on the pitch, so everything is pretty defensive on that swing that he hit down the right field line right there.
Still 1-2. 25 pitches in the 1st inning, but since then 14 pitches or less. in the next 4 innings. Deep short, long throw, Vilas. Butler has to leave the bag. And that's going to be an error charged to Mike Aviles. And while we have a moment, let's take a look at tonight's Coors Light Freeze Cam and revisit Billy Butler's night.
Well, Billy had a great night tonight so far. He hit a long home run to, I'd say, almost more center field than right center field. Then he gets a big double inside the bag at third base, and he hits another long home run to left center field. This is a night to remember for Billy Butler. I mean, you don't have many nights like this with 2 home runs in one game, and especially after you've been struggling, and it's a great night to break out.
Right center field and deep, but it'll stay in the ballpark. Jose Guillen retires Adam Lind. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. So 1 on 1 out for Scott Rowland. A strikeout in the second, a fly out to left in the fourth. Curveball, strike 1. Oh, and 2. On a game like this, it could be tempting to allow Zach to go maybe 7 innings or so with the big lead, but the Royals are still in that long stretch of games without an off day, and every day you can give the bullpen a break is a bonus and will pay off later in the stretch.
Well, that's true. Zach cuts that fastball right in on Rowland, and he's had a hard time all night getting that corner. Both one inning he gets the outside corner with the lefties, but he has a hard time getting that corner to the right-hander.
Now Rowland strikes out for a second time, and Zach picks up his 7th.
Well, you always say you run after strike 3 and the dirt and the ball gets away, but he's so frustrated. And that's what Zach Greinke does to you. I mean, he throws so many different pitches. You can't really sit on the pitch. And Vernon Wells, when he was up, it was more of a defensive type at bat. And when he's getting all these pitches over for strikes, that's how he makes you feel at the plate.
Thanks to Joel's cable ties, those K's looking a little more tidy. Guy on the left is making sure the Zach part doesn't fall down.
You know, Ryan, getting back to what you're talking about Zach tonight and how far to go in the game, I think they would just mainly stay on the pitch count. They would look at the pitch count and let that decide when to bring him out of the ball game. And if he's throwing strikes, and as he is right now, they won't be in a big hurry to shorten his night with a lower pitch count.
He's at 93 pitches. His average in his first 4 is 104, which, if the Royals go by what you suggest, maybe 1 more inning for Zach.
Well, Trey's really been pretty much on target with the amount of pitches that the starters throw. So I would say maybe he go maybe a little bit, maybe 110 at the most, but I wouldn't say more than that.
Well, he's still throwing 96. And still dealing with the tight Mike Winters strike zone.
Well, he's just not getting it. Mike Winters is definitely making him pitch hard tonight.
Trying to go for that back foot slider. It's 3-2, and now with 2 outs, Vernon Wells will take off. The Royals are not worried about him. Still 3-2. Let's quickly update You Call It, presented by Sprint. Now 78% of you thinking that Greinke this year is the best April by the Royals pitcher. Now Brett Saberhagen has moved into second place. 69 percentage points behind Greinke, but he's in second place. Got him looking. So he didn't get a call earlier in the at-bat. Zach strikes out his 8th. Now in center field, who played briefly for the Royals, taking over for Vernon Wells, and Marco Scutero is out. That's John McDonald taking over at shortstop.
The 6th inning, this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Rick Miller of Pleasant Valley, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Rick will win $2,100. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Rick will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Speaking of former Royals, Sean Camp stays in there to face Jose Guillen, then Billy Butler, then Mike Jacobs. Camp getting all 3 outs in the 5th inning in relief of Brian Tallett, who allowed all 10 runs tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jose is grounded out, popped out, flied out. It's one of those nights where the Royals offense, with the 10 runs, have really spread out the production. Only Jose Guillen and Miguel Olivo are without a run scored or an RBI or both. Crisp, a run scored. Bloomquist, 2 runs scored. Tien, a run scored, 2 RBIs. Butler, 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs. Jacobs, a run and an RBI. Callaspo, a run. Aviles, a run and 2 driven in. Right to the second baseman, Aaron Hill. So Guillen is 0 for 4. And now Billy Butler, and what a night he has had. Billy coming in tonight 0 for his last 7 and batting .193. So he's added 40 points to his average. His first 2 home runs, and he has more than doubled his RBI total.
Well, it's going to be hard to keep Billy quiet tonight. He likes to talk. He loves to talk about hitting, and anybody will listen, he'll talk. So this is going to be his night tonight.
I said in his last at-bat, or after his second home run, that if Billy could keep one in the ballpark, he might be working on a cycle. Guys in the truck were laughing at me, but then Kevin Shank just informed me that Benji Molina has tripled for the Giants tonight. And Billy would waste Benji Molina in a sprinting contest.
Guess which way the ball bounces when it gets out there.
I'm guessing something went wrong with that triple. Molina, one of those guys that take him all day to run out of sight. Three balls, two strikes. Not only swinging the bat well, Billy, tonight, but he is very selective.
He's definitely, when he was in that little slump, he was chasing a breaking ball off the plate down, and here's a pitch inside. He saw it all the way, and he's doing a great job of seeing the ball.
Still 3-2.
I just like the way his hands are really going through the zone. The bat's really flowing free and easy through the zone, and he's really seeing the ball away, and he's attacking it away, and he's not pulling off the ball like he was when he was in that slump he was in.
And now battling Sean Camp, the former Royal. The Royals signed him to a minor league contract before the 2004 season from the Pirates organization. He had never pitched in the big leagues. Started the year in Omaha, and then mentioned those 42 games with the Royals in 04, pitched with the Royals in 05, Tampa Bay in 06 and 07, and then Toronto last year. So the decision to bring Camp to the Royals was good for Camp and his career. Turned him into a big league pitcher. There's a story behind that. He was a summer league teammate of Jin Wong, who's in the Royals baseball operations department, and recommended the signing of Sean Camp. And Billy, there's the single, so here we go. Triple shy of the cycle. One on, one out. That's Billy's second career 4-hit game. Hey fans, Girls Night Out returns to Kauffman Stadium on Thursday, May the 14th. The Country Club Plaza, Macy's, and 38 The Spot are teaming up for the night. Ticket packages benefit Susan G. Komen for the Cure. 10,000 ladies receive this Royals cap from Country Club Plaza. You can sign up for a makeover and get tickets at royals.com/Girls Night Out. Mike Jacobs into deep center field, and that's over Bautista's head up against the wall. Billy to third. He's going to be held there, and Mike Jacobs, who is 0 for 18 coming in tonight, has reached 4 times, 2 walks, a double, and a single.
And we said earlier the way Mike Jacobs was taking pitches and the way he was going the other way, usually you can kind of tell when he's about ready to get hot again. So he just stayed right down over the plate, stayed right down over that ball, and really drove it in the right center.
Royals have scored in 4 straight innings. Trying to make it 5 with second and third one out. 0-1 on Alberto Callaspo. 2 doubles for Callaspo and a run scored. Sean Camp went to George Mason, and one of the baseball coaches at that time was Dayton Moore, and he recruited Sean Camp to George Mason. And that summer team that he played on with Jin Wong, the coach was J.J. Piccolo. So a lot of connections to Sean Camp. Jin was telling me that, there's a shot of Jin. He was telling me that he was looking up Sean Camp's name and couldn't find his agent's name, so he just called Sean's house to get in contact with him. His parents answered, had a conversation with his parents, which led to a conversation with Sean, which got Sean in the Royals organization. So Sean Camp obviously had to perform, but knowing Jin Wong on that amateur summer league team, got him to the Royals, got him into the big leagues, and now he's a bona fide major league pitcher. This is his 246th major league game. His first was with the Royals. Over Camp's head, that'll get a run home. And Callaspo thrown out, but he'll pick up an RBI, scoring Butler. Billy has scored 4 times tonight, and the Royals lead 11-2. And now Tony Pena Jr. will hit. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Now Tony Pena Jr. batting for Mike Aviles, and he lifts it to center field for Bautista. And the inning is over, but the Royals score in their 5th consecutive inning and lead by 9. Getting Mitch Meyer in the game in right field for Jose Guillen. And Tony Pena Jr., who just flied out to end the bottom of the 6th, will take over at shortstop. And Mark Teahan stays in the game at 3rd. Our next broadcast in high definition is coming up tomorrow afternoon. That's an inside joke, by the way. 1:10 first pitch, 12:30 with Royals Live with Joel and Jamie. Presented by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Starting to rain. It's not really a rain that's going to threaten the game, but startling some of the fans who braved the rain to come out tonight. A 31-minute rain delay, and it's been a pleasant night since then. Barajas into the rain, and Willie Bloomquist, who had to deal with that all Monday night out in left field. 1 pitch, 1 out. Zach Greinke has allowed 2 runs in 6 1/3 innings.
Well, Zach has done an outstanding job staying in there. It didn't really have quite the command that he wanted to have, but again, he's able to get the outs that he needs, get the plays made behind him, and attack the hitters at the plate.
2-1 on Travis Snyder. Blue Jays with a run in the first inning, and that was the first earned run allowed by Zach, and then another run in the third. Toronto led 1-0 and 2-1. Now Zach has allowed one hit since the third inning. He's retired 13 of the last 15. Look out. Ooh. I think that ball hit the concrete lip in between the Blue Jays dugout and the dugout suite. That thing shot straight up in the air. There was hardly any time to react on a ball like that. Wow. Close pitch, 3-2.
Yeah, you have to be pretty lucky to escape one like that, because that ball was pretty hot going through there. And then luckily it did hit the dugout lip, because a lot of kids were sitting behind the dugout, and a lot of them not paying attention.
Center field, Coco fading back to the front of the warning track, 2 down in the 7th inning. Remember, you can get your Royals stadium replica coming up on Saturday, May the 16th against the Baltimore Orioles. Thanks to Fox Sports Kansas City. It's part of a 4-piece collectible set that will also include 3 Royals Hall of Fame statues. Tickets, 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com, the box office, or area Hy-Vee food stores. John McDonald hitting for the first time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marco Scutaro, 2 more runs scored. Both runs scored for the Blue Jays. 1-2. Zach now at 107 pitches, so this is probably his last batter and last inning.
Well, he really drove this ball to the outer half of the plate right there, so he's 94 miles an hour, so he really hadn't lost anything on his fastball at all.
Two and 2 to McDonald. In his first 4 starts, Zach has gone 6 innings, 5 innings, 9 innings, 9 innings, and now 1 strike away from going 7 innings. Off the mask of home plate umpire Mike Winters. Just missed. How many times have we said that tonight?
Well, the one thing Zach's done tonight, Ryan, is he really hadn't let this umpiring affect the way he's pitched. He's come right back and made a little bit better pitch, and that's a great pitch right there. But he just got to come back and make a better pitch like he's been doing all night.
And he gets a fly ball into shallow left center field. Coco is there. 7 innings for Zach Greinke. Allows 2 runs in the first 3 and no runs in the next 4, and the fans love it. standouts tonight. Billy Butler on offense with 4 runs scored, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and Zach Greinke allows just 2 runs in 7 innings. Elsewhere, as Panera takes us around the American League, it was the Angels over the Orioles, 8th home run for Torrey Hunter. White Sox over the Mariners, 8 home runs now for Carlos Quentin. That puts the White Sox over 500. Red Sox beating the Indians after losing their 11-game winning streak to Cleveland yesterday. Yankees over the Tigers, a couple of home runs for Nick Swisher. Twins over the Rays. That's where the Royals will head after the game tomorrow, up to Minnesota. And the A's and the Rangers postponed. Jason Frazier takes over in the bottom of the 7th inning. Sean Camp pitched 2 innings in relief of Brian Tallett. Camp gave up 1 run. Tallett gave up 10. It'll be Miguel Olivo, Coco Crisp, and Willie Bloomquist. Olivo and Jose Guillen, the only starters tonight, without a hit or a run scored. Olivo 0 for 3. Guillen finished 0 for 4. 1-2. So on one hand, Olivo might be a little frustrated with what he's done at the plate, but again, called another great game for Zach Greinke, which is just as important, maybe more important than what he does as a hitter.
Well, as a catcher, that would be more important, because they've actually worked very well together, and they both praised each other after the games. And the games where you got to call a good game for Zach, maybe a concentration on hitting is not where it needs to be, because you want to make sure you do what you need to do to get him through the game.
Now Zach is going to do the way he's pitching right now. He's going to do fine with any catcher, but there's some pressure on Miguel Olivo when your guy is on a run that Zach was on before tonight.
Well, I mean, he's carrying you right along with him, and you guys have that rapport, and he's comfortable with you, and you can make suggestions, and he follows those suggestions. Once you get that comfortable with a pitcher, it makes for a nice night between you and the pitcher on the mound.
By the way, we just had a shot of pitching coach Bob McClure, and it gives us a moment to say happy birthday to the Royals pitching coach, 57 years old today. He has had a huge impact since becoming Royals pitching coach.
But Bob was one of those mentally tough pitchers. He came around in 75 and just had a lot of confidence. He knew he could pitch, and he pitched with an attitude. And I think that's what he's trying to bring to these guys is pitch with an attitude. Don't be afraid to pitch inside. Don't be afraid to hit someone. That's part of the game. And don't run from the bats. He wants you to pitch to contact, but pitch down in the zone and try to pitch both sides of the plate.
There's the Firestone in-game box score. I'll give you a rundown at the Royals have done at the plate tonight. You know, it's interesting. Who wouldn't want to have Nolan Ryan or Roger Clemens as a pitching coach? But there's so much God-given ability there that you can't teach. A guy like Bob McClure, who used guts and guile and creativity and smarts to get through his long career, he can relate to more guys than someone like Nolan Ryan or Roger Clemens.
And they had an excellent pickoff mode too, and that really can help some of the left-handed pitchers. But I think the one thing you can't teach in this game is mental toughness. I think this is what a guy has to bring to the table himself, and then be guided through the rest of it.
Coco 2 hits, both doubles. He has scored once. 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know, so much of this game, Ryan, is confidence, and when you're a hitter and you're facing the tough pitchers, if you don't truly believe that you can get a hit off this guy, you probably won't. And as a pitcher facing a tough hitter, if you don't believe you can get him out, you probably won't. So you have to believe one way or the other and let the results take care of themselves. But you can't go in there with that opinion that you can't get the job done.
Swing. Adrian Johnson down to third base. Jamie Wright throwing in the Royals bullpen. Greinke had 111 pitches and ahead by 9. So that's plenty of work from him tonight. Snyder started in, and now the ball carries on him and runs it down to get crisp. 2 away in the bottom of the 7th. Remember, you can shop the largest online selection of Royals caps, t-shirts, jerseys, and more at the Royals.com Pro Shop. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Open from anywhere. And come check out the new Royals souvenir and gift shops at brand new Kauffman Stadium. Bloomquist through the right side and a base hit. Bloomquist with 2 hits. Trey Hillman at times comes across as a percentages type of a manager, working the matchups and the statistics. Other times he comes across as a feel manager. And tonight he obviously didn't pay attention to the numbers that would suggest you don't want to put too many right-hand batters in the lineup against Brian Talent. They were hitting .064. The righties were against Talent. The lefties, .474. But Trey elected to sit David DeJesus. Willie Bloomquist hits a shot. 2 hits, 2 runs scored. Billy Butler, who didn't play against the right-hander Richmond last night, gets the start against a lefty tonight. And he ends up with 4 hits, 4 runs scored, and 4 RBIs.
We talked about a lot of this before the game about different percentages and who does well against certain pitchers. And really on a given night, things can change. And it's all about the pitcher making a bad pitch at the right time. And that's what happened tonight. That's why the odds do change. But, you know, sometimes percentages don't work. And then sometimes they do work. But I think it's mainly just what that guy on the mound's throwing that night, whether or not they're going to work or not.
It was easy to take a double take, not seeing DeJesus in the lineup, who's an everyday player and hits left-handers well. And last night had 2 hits. Looked like he got his stroke back and got those hits against a pitcher that wasn't giving up many hits. But Trey going with Willie Bloomquist, who, at least in this series, doing nothing but getting on base and scoring runs.
He's getting on base. He's running hard. He's doing the little fundamental things that you need to do. And hopefully all these little fundamental things will really take off on some of the other guys.
Two and 2 on Tien. 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. Royals 1 run, 6 hits last night. 11 runs, 15 hits. And 11 extra base hits tonight. Kind of an up and down series. The Royals had a great night at the plate on Monday. Knocked down last night and back at it again tonight.
Well, they've just been having a hard time just putting consistent offense together game to game. You know, it's almost like his feast or famine right now. But it's a great night for everybody to get on the same page and get some confidence going, and just having Jose back in the lineup gives them a solid lineup. But it's nice that they're all sharing in the base hit and the hit parade tonight.
Tien is out. Zach Greinke is done, hoping for his 5th win. Royals lead by 9. Zach Greinke, our defensive play of the game, is brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense. And there is no easier defensive play than a strikeout.
And that's the best out. That's the best out in the world is a strikeout. Nobody has a chance to mess up.
Zach had 8 of them, so 44 strikeouts in 36 innings. Goes 7 innings tonight, 111 pitches. And the Royals 6 outs away on defense, helping Zach to improve to 5-0. Mitch Meyer moves from right field to center, and David DeJesus has moved into the game in right, so DeJesus will hit in the number 1 spot. Coco Crisp is done, and Jamie Wright takes over. Ball 1 to Aaron Hill. Joakim Soria is still not available. He pitched off the bullpen yesterday, so he's on his way back. And the way things have worked out for the Royals, there hasn't really been, at least since the injury was announced, a Joakim Soria situation where you need someone to come on for the 9th with a 3-run or less lead.
Well, you know, Ryan, it'd be nice if they had a couple. At least they could find out exactly who they could trust in that situation. I know Trey said it's going to be by who has the hottest hand, but it would be nice to have a couple games where, while he's out, that you have an opportunity to find out if somebody can get that done or not.
First chance for Pena tonight, and skips it past Butler. That'll be an error charged to Pena, and the Royals have committed 2 errors, both charged to the shortstops. Aviles in the 6th, and now Pena in the 8th. It's the first time a ball has skipped past Butler this year.
I know first basemen really pride themselves on being able to pick out those short hops. If you get the in-between hop, that's difficult, but they kind of expect themselves to catch those short hops that because you can not always get that chest-high throw. So the short hop throw and it's really one that they expect to catch. So Billy looked pretty disappointed on that one.
Frustrating night for Alex Rios. 2 strikeouts, and he's grounded into a double play. That produced a run in the 3rd inning, but no RBI. Grounding into a double play. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's past Butler and up the right field line. So to Jesus, cutting it off before it gets into the corner. 1st and 3rd, nobody out.
This is a pitch that was left up and in, and Rios did a great job pulling his hands inside and directing the ball to right field. And with the alignment that Billy is off first base, the ball got inside the right field line for a base hit. So that was a great piece of hitting by Rios right there.
And now Jose Bautista. Former Royal for a very short period of time. In 2004, acquired in a trade with the Tampa Bay Rays. Bautista played in 13 games for the Royals. That was a crazy year for him. He was in the Pirates organization until December of 03. Then he was taken in the Rule 5 by the Orioles, traded to the Royals, and then traded back to his original team, the Pirates, all in the same year. It was a 3-way trade. Bautista was actually traded from the Royals to the Mets, but he never played for the Mets. He went back to the Pirates, and that was the deal that helped the Royals land Justin Huber from the Mets organization. And the Royals turn the double play. 2nd time tonight. At the Royals, with 1st and 3rd and nobody out, get a double play. So a run scores to make it 11-3, but the Royals get 2 outs.
Well, that was a big play. Tony did a good job coming in and shortening that distance between that ground ball and made a nice feed to Casper, who made a nice turn to first base.
So now with 2 outs and nobody on, Adam Lynn. A strikeout, a walk, and a fly out to right field. Adam Lynn is 0 for his last 9. One and one.
And Jamie's got a lot of late life on this fastball, a lot of sink. He's up to 93. That's a little harder than he normally throws, but he's got a lot of good run on it.
Again, on the outside part of the plate, 1 and 2. Wright taking over in the 8th inning. He's allowed an unearned run. Zach Greinke pitched 7 innings, gave up 2 runs on only 5 hits, 8 more strikeouts. And Lind went around. Olivo tags him out. And that's the inning. A run for Toronto. It's 11-3. inventive sandwiches and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. (11-3) Royals. Jamie Wright pitching the 8th, gave up an unearned run. And now the Blue Jays will send their 4th pitcher to the hill. Left-hander Bill Murphy. We saw him 2 nights ago. Allowed 1 run in 2 innings. Walked 4. That was in the Royals' 7-1 victory. The Blue Jays bouncing back last night and winning 8-1, and now 11-3 KC. So 3 one-sided games. Final game is tomorrow afternoon, with Kyle Davies pitching against lefty Brian Burris. Mitch Meyer's first at bat. Center field, Bautista makes the catch. And now Billy Butler, who's a triple away from the cycle. So don't turn that TV off yet. He has 2 triples in his major league career, both 2 years ago. And everyone is chanting triple, triple.
And Billy's got a little smile on his face.
2 home runs, a double, and a single. He scored 4 runs. He has driven in 4 runs. One ball, 1 strike. Joel Goldberg.
Well, guys, we got Boulevard Royals Live with Jamie Cork coming up in just a little bit. Just a guess. I think Billy's going to join us. By the way, I was asking Jamie, I said, what is he? Is he going for the triple here? He said, just go for the 5 for 5. The triple might be a little tough to do.
Aw, come on, Jamie.
He's never had a 5 for 5 before. He's had a 4 for 5.
What about Jamie? Did Jamie ever have a 5 for 5?
Jamie ever have a 5 for 5?
No.
You remember those, I guess. How about the cycle? No. Back to you.
3-1. Well, if Murphy would pitch to him.
We'll definitely find out, won't we?
Run, Billy, run! Caught by Rios in right field. But 4 out of 5 ain't bad.
I think any hitter would exchange that every night. 4 out of 5. And it's hard to get 4 hits in a game, so it's a great night for Billy.
And now Mike Jacobs, and maybe this is the game that gets him going. 2 walks, a single, a double, an RBI, and a run scored.
Well, he's really doing a great job against the left-handers, laying off the ball away. When he was struggling, he was chasing the breaking ball down and away. Tonight, he's been a lot more patient on balls away, and then the balls in the middle of the plate, he's taking it the other way and got him a base hit.
1-1 from Bill Murphy. That 2-out single up the left field line in the 3rd inning was a great adjustment right in the middle of the at-bat.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, that's what you kind of look for him to do in spring training. He took the fastball out of the plate and drove it to left center field, and now when he gets in trouble, he starts trying to pull everything, and he pulls off early and don't see the ball and chases balls down and away. So you could tell by how quiet he was early in the game that he was actually seeing the ball.
Just got underneath it. And Aaron Hill makes the play. Royals down in order in the 8th. 3 outs to go. Royals by 8. Boulevard Royals Live with Joe Goldberg and Jamie Quirk from Rivals Sports Bar out in right field. Highlights and analysis. They'll talk about Billy Butler and Zach Greinke's Knights and preview the series finale where the Royals have a chance to take 3 out of 4 from the Blue Jays, who came to Kansas City with the best record in baseball. Kyle Davies and Brian Burris tomorrow afternoon. And in the 9th inning, Juan Cruz will pitch to Scott Rowland, Lyle Overbay, and Rod Barajas. Zach Greinke, 7 innings, gave up 2 runs, 5 hits. Jamie Wright, 1 inning, 1 run, it was unearned. And now Cruz to Scott Rowland, 0 for 3 today against Greinke with 2 strikeouts. Well, the question came up immediately when the Royals announced that Joakim Soria would be out a minimum of 3 to 5 days. Who's your closer? And Trey Hillman didn't give a definitive answer because he doesn't really have a definitive backup. And we haven't figured out who that's going to be because we haven't had that situation.
Well, according to the fans wanted it to be Juan Cruz. He was their pick. But until you get in that situation, you never know which way Trey's going to go.
At the beginning of this series, our You Call It, presented by Sprint, we asked you, the fans, who you would like to see, and overwhelmingly it was Juan Cruz. The choices were Cruz, Mayhay, Farnsworth, and letting the game dictate the situation and just go with the hot hand. But again, no save situation since then. And to wrap up tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint, 79% of you saying that Zach Greinke's 2009 season is the best April by a Royals pitcher.
It's hard to argue with that one. He's been impressive from day one.
Did he go? No.
I think the check swing call tonight has been real elusive to the Royals. I don't think we've gotten one tonight.
And Rowland ends up with his first hit. Greinke was trying to be the first major league pitcher since Tom Cheney in 1963 to have 3 or more starts in the month of April and not give up a single earned run in that month. Cheney did it with 3 and went 3-0. Zach had 5 starts in the month of April and ends up giving up 2 earned runs in 36 innings.
I think he'll trade that all year long. It'd be an outstanding year.
Ball 1 to Lyle Overbay. He's 0 for 3. Zach will not pitch in the Minnesota series. And if you want to start looking at your calendar, Greinke's next start will be on Monday when the Royals return home for a brief 4-game homestand. He'll be pitching against the White Sox. White Sox next Monday and Tuesday, then the Mariners Wednesday and Thursday. Left field into the mist, and Willie Bloomquist, who's had a good night, retires Overbay. Rolling back to first base. Oh, 0-1. Royals' season high for runs scored is 12. That was the first game of that Rangers series on the last road trip, and Zach Greinke pitched that one. Royals won 12-3. That was also a season high for hits that game, 19. The Royals have 15 tonight, but they have a season high 11 extra base hits.
You almost get the feeling that when Zach pitches that the defense and the offense really get excited too, because they know what's on the line when he's out there. They know he's got a guy who's going to battle, and he makes all the pitches. He pitches out of trouble to keep the defense in the game. And there's some pitches like that. Saberhagen was one of those guys that seemed to get a lot of runs when he pitched. And I think a lot of it goes back to your mound presence, and you don't get rattled when things don't go your way. You just come back and make a better pitch, and the guys make a mistake behind you. That doesn't bother you. You just get the double play, and I think the defense appreciates that.
Does it take some pressure knowing that with a guy like Saberhagen or Greinke, we don't have to score a lot of runs tonight with this guy on the mound?
Well, it makes you more relaxed as a hitter because you don't have to think that every time you don't drive in a run is going to be something that's going to be game-changing, because you know if you relax and go into the game knowing he's going to keep the other team down, then you can relax it on the offensive side and be a little more freer at the plate without creating a lot of tension for yourself.
2-2 to Barajas. Late swing on a hanging slider lands in right field. The Blue Jays have 2 hits. Of all the impressive numbers, and there is a long list of impressive numbers with Zach Greinke, the one that still gets to me is in the first inning when the Blue Jays scored their first run, they had 2 hits. 1 run, 2 hits. Big deal. That's nothing impressive. But it's only the 3rd time in 36 innings that Zach Greinke has given up more than 1 hit in an inning. 3 innings out of 36. And the times that he did get into trouble, especially in that Cleveland game, that was as much walks as it was base hits. But, well, you're going to have a tough time putting a rally together when you're working with that ratio.
It's been against some good hitting ball clubs, too. So,
chance for another double play. Callaspo, Pena didn't get him. Royals have already turned 2. So they get Barajas, but Snyder, the 21-year-old, still playing hard in the 9th inning.
Well, they did everything they could do on that one. Callaspo got a nice feed to Tony. And Tony's got that great arm. That's a bang-bang play at first base.
And now John McDonald pops it up. And Mitch Meyer in center field making the catch, and that's the game. The Royals have taken a 2-1 advantage in the series. And an impressive game at the plate with 11 runs, 15 hits, 11 extra base hits, and an impressive game on the mound as Zach Greinke improves to 5.